am at the St. Labore Demolition Derby. It's like a big thing on Watermelon Days, okay? And grapes. And it's a big thing because it's a fundraiser for our little small town of 300 people. Anyway.
Wait, we only have 300?
No.
My small town is St. Labore. Ours has 50, you're here, 50,000. Anyway, so I'm there, and all of a sudden, here comes this guy with the little person, little kid, and I'm like, wait, I only see him at school. How come he's at St. Labore? And it shows up to be Mr. Hester. He's at the Demolition Derby in St. Labore. But now I know why, because he told me. Maybe he'll tell you at the end of his speech why he was there. So let's clap for Mr. Hester.
Thanks.
Sure.
Okay. My name is Ron Hester. I'm assistant principal here at Grand Island Senior High School. I do have students that's last name runs from A through E. This is my 7th year at Grand Island Senior High School. Before I was assistant principal, I was a dean of students. I did that for a couple of years, and then they gave me an alphabet and said, now instead of all the students, now you just have these students. That's how my job changed over the years. Okay? Some of the challenges of my job. Well, probably the biggest challenge of my job is that I'm responsible for making sure that policies are followed. Okay? And does anybody know who makes policy for a school district? The board. Exactly. The school board does. Okay? The school board, with the direction of the superintendent, makes policies. So there's a policy that they wrote, and you're all aware of it, and I have to enforce it, and it has to do with this. Okay? So those of you that always say, man, it's such a pain, I don't like to wear it. I have no choice, okay? Because the school board said that that's a policy that all students, all staff, everybody in the buildings will wear an ID. Okay, so part of my responsibilities is when the school board says that's a policy, I gotta make sure that. I've been in education, this is my 24th year. I taught math for 17 years at a small school, some of you may have heard of it, it's called Centura. It's out by Cairo, Nebraska, Dannebrog, Golis. I taught there for a long time. One of the most rewarding projects I worked on when I was at Centura, I was a classroom teacher, but I was also a member of a group of teachers that were trying to do school improvement. Okay? And some of you may know what school improvement is, but we have a group here of teachers in this building that are part of school improvement. What they do is they try to find ways to make school better, make things better for you guys so that you can learn more and you can do well and you have all the skills that you need to be successful. So back in 2002, were they be born in 2002? After 2000? Okay, all right. So back in 2002, we had this idea that it would be a great thing if every student had their own computer. And so you understand, at that time, there was only one other school in the state of Nebraska where every student had their own computer. And so that was our plan, was we were going to try to make it so that every student could have a computer. Now, understand, that's back, a long time when a math book, an Apple computer, pretty expensive. They were like $1,800 a piece. Okay. So what we did was we went to the school board and we said, hey, we'd really like to give each student a computer, and it was very rewarding. They agreed, okay, and they did it. Now, the hardest part of that job was we kind of did it without telling the superintendent. We kind of broke the chain of command. There's a chain of command, that you have with the job where, you're supposed to go to your supervisor goes up. And, well, we kind of jumped over the superintendent and went to the school board because we were afraid the superintendent might say, absolutely not, that's too much money. So that was a little difficult, you know, continuing to work for the superintendent, knowing that what we had done to him, but he got over it. And he saw that it was a great thing, and now, you know, that's pretty common, right? Everybody has computers, their own computers in the building, okay? The reason why I'm into education, when I was in high school like you guys, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Had no idea, okay? And then all of a sudden I'm a senior graduate and I still had no idea what I wanted to do. Not even a clue. All my friends were going to college. I had some friends that were going to the military. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I really didn't. So I just got a job. And my job was making fertilizer. You guys know what fertilizer is? You know what fertilizer is? Now it was called anhydrous ammonia. You know, if you know anything about chemistry, anhydrous ammonia. If you see, if you're driving out in the country and you see farmers, sometimes they'll be going through the field and they'll have these white tanks that they're bagged behind them. Okay, that's anhydrous ammonia. Right? So I got a job doing that. It paid really, really well, but it was a very dirty job. And if you guys know what ammonia smells like, you'll understand that stuff, after a while, you get really tired of smelling that stuff. Okay? So then I thought, well, I can do something different. So I thought, well, I'll just go to college. So I enrolled in college, still didn't know what I wanted to do, but I thought, well, you know, maybe business administration, so that's what I did. I took a year of college, got done with college, thought, no, I can't do that. So I got married. Got married, got another job, okay? Now I have a job at it's called a compressor station for a natural gas pipeline company, okay? You all know what natural gas is. You know, you turn on your stove, there's your natural gas, right? You turn on your furnace, it heats up, that's natural gas. So this natural gas comes from Texas, but they have to get it up here to Nebraska and all these northern states up here, so they ship it up here in a pipeline. In order to do that, they have to have these big engines that run compressors that suck that gas up here and then push it on down the pipeline to the next place, okay? So I got a job at this place. Very fortunate because this job paid very, very well, okay? So this is the early 1980s, and you know, I'm making about $45,000 to $50,000 a year working at this job, okay? 30 years ago. I mean, now that'd be pretty good money, right?
Yeah.
30 years ago, that was great, great money. But I worked from 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, 1 week, and then the next week I'd work from 4 in the afternoon till midnight. And then I do it the next week, I'd work from midnight to 4 a.m. Every 7 days, that's the way that worked. Okay. So I had all this free time on my hands, and I had kids. My kids were going to school, so I had free time during the day, so I'd go to school and, you know, just kind of hang out with my kids in elementary school. I thought, you know, this is really good. I think I'd like to do this. So, since I had all this free time during the day, I started going back to school. And I would drive 70 miles one way to college and then drive back every day, take my classes, get a couple hours of sleep, and then go to work. I get off work, I do the same thing every day, okay? And it took me about 7 years to get that done, okay? So I finally graduated from college at the age of 32. I was a college graduate, okay? And then from there, I thought, well, now I've got this degree, and to top it off, the natural gas company that I was working for, they paid for all my classes. Okay? So I graduated without any debt, which is a real concern when we go to college, talk about people, they graduate all this debt, they got these payments and things like that they got to do. So I graduated, I didn't have any debt, but the company said, hey, look, we paid for all this schooling. You know, we think maybe you should work for us for a while to kind of pay that back. So they offered me a job in Chicago, Illinois. They said, hey, would you come here? Well, at that time I had 3 little kids, and I did not want to work or live in Chicago, Illinois. So I said, no, I'm not going to do it. So said, well, it's time to be a teacher. So I applied for some jobs. I got the job at Centura, and my pay went from $50,000 to $20,000. So,
Okay, can you imagine that? Okay, once again, he has a family. His family is used to a $50,000, income, and now it just went down to 20. How do you make things 30,000 he lost? How do you make ends meet?
so the five of us lived in a 2-bedroom, 4-plex. You guys know where Lions Club Park is? Remember Lions Club Park? Okay, there's Sycamore Street runs right by Lions Club Park. We lived in a 4-plex right there. The five of us did this little 2-bedroom, had 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, a kitchen, and a living room. So the five of us all lived in there. So, I know some of you can relate to that too. You live in a small place. There's a lot of you in a small place, but that's where we live. Okay, and it's worked really well, through the years. And like I said, I went from a teacher. Now I'm doing this job. I really love this job. So, and one of the reasons why I chose to be a teacher because I like kids. Okay, I like, because one of the best things about you guys is you make my job a little frustrating, and sometimes you make my job really great because no day is ever the same in a school. And there is no such thing as a routine. I don't go in and punch a clock and walk over to a machine and stand at that machine all day long. Okay? Every day is different. That's the best part about this job. Okay? Does your job take any special talents? Well, one of the things I think that helps me with my job is I'm pretty calm. Okay, I don't get too excited. Right, Jackie? Pretty calm. Okay, I don't get angry. I don't get real happy. I don't get real sad. I'm pretty even. Okay, so it helps me with that part of my job. Okay. Nice thing about my job is, I could go anywhere in the state of Nebraska. I could go anywhere in the country. I could go anywhere in the country, probably do my job, okay? Because there's schools anywhere. I like Nebraska. I wasn't born in Nebraska, but I grew up in Nebraska. So, I like Cornhusker State, so that's why I'm here. One thing about my job it takes a lot of time, okay? Usually I get here a little after 7 in the morning. Most of the time I get out of here by 5 or 5:30, sometimes it's 6. If we have activities, sometimes it's 9 o'clock before I get home. So sometimes the days are pretty long, okay? But it's part of that job, part of the good and the bad. Okay? How would you advise you guys to plan for your future? Okay, well, I would advise you to get yourself informed about everything that you can, anything that you have an interest in, okay? Find out about it. Now, does it mean that's what you're going to do for the rest of your life? Probably not. Look at me, okay? I had a job, paid real well. I didn't like it, okay? The money was great, but the job, part of my language sucked, okay? The hours were rough. So be informed about what's out there, and don't be afraid to change your mind. You're going along, you don't like what you're doing, well, find something else to do life. Because you're going to do it for a long time. All right? And if you're going to do it for a long time, you want to make sure that it's something that you enjoy. You get up in the morning and think, hey, I get to go to work. Not, I got to go to work. Okay? What job would you choose if you didn't do what you do now? Okay, I think I'd like to be a truck driver. I couldn't be a worker at school. I think I'd like to be a truck driver. I like to travel. I like to drive. My son is a truck driver, and I just think that would be great. Now the winters might be kind of rough, especially in Nebraska. But maybe I'd take runs south, the weather's not things like that. But I think that's what I like to do. I like to get truck. What's the most satisfying thing about my job? The people I work with. Okay? The teachers in this building are great. Okay? They are the best teachers I've ever worked with. Okay? Because they put students first, and that's what I do. Okay? People that put students first, they're okay in my building. Okay? For my job, I have a bachelor's degree, and then I had to go get a master's degree. Okay? In order to do my job, you gotta have a master's degree in educational administration. Okay? Some people go on and get their specialist degree, some people go on and get their doctorate degree. Just understand, the more degrees you have, the more money you make. Okay? So if you have your doctorate degree, you're gonna make more than somebody that has a master's degree. That's just the way it works. Okay? Is there anything I didn't answer on here? Do they have any particular questions?
Like a typical day.
Typical day, okay.
So you guys, this is question number 4. What are the day-to-day activities or duties, okay?
Like I said, my day, when I get here, shortly after 7 o'clock in the morning, I come in. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll check my email to find out if there's emails that came in overnight. Okay? Because a lot of times I'll check my emails before I go to bed, see if there's anything urgent, if it can wait till the morning. I'll just put it off and I'll look at my emails in the morning. Make contact with teachers and students that I need to follow up with from the previous day. That takes up some of my morning. Excuse me. From there, it's whatever comes to me. Okay. After that, about that point, it's I get a phone call about something, so I got to take care of that. Teacher comes in and tells me about something. The student comes in and tells me that they need some help with something. So from that point on, that's why I say every day is different, because it's constantly changing. One day does not look like the next because of the people that are involved with my job. That's what I do, is I work with people all the time. Okay? The whole time I'm here. After school, I go down and check on the after-school program, make sure everything's going okay down there, take care of any other little things that are around here, check on kids, make sure they have rides, they can get home, those kind of things. And then if we don't have any activities, I go home. You guys have any questions?
You make more money than you did when you were teaching.
Yes, I do. I certainly do. Like I said, the more degrees you have, the more money you make. Okay. And the other thing is, as an administrator, my contract, teachers have to sign contracts. That's the way it works. Okay. And that contract says that you will work for this school district from this day until this day. That's the way the contract works. And as a teacher, when you sign that contract, you're promising to do that. Okay. If you don't sign your contract, you're going to go to another school, that's fine. And what they're going to do is they're going to find somebody to replace you and sign a contract. Okay? So for me, I sign a contract. My contract stipulates that I have to work 260 days in a year, which basically is about 12 months. Okay? So I'm contracted, from August 15th of 2016 to August 15th of 2017. That's my contract. If I want to take a day off, I have to use a day of vacation. Okay. Yeah. Teachers are a little bit different. Their contract usually runs from the middle of August to the end of May. Okay. And so that gives them free time in the summer. Now, that was a nice thing about when I taught. I had a summer job. And my summer job was as an insurance adjuster. You guys know what an insurance adjuster is? What's an insurance adjuster? And you don't sell it, you adjust it. And what that means is, how many of you have ever been in a hailstorm? Ever been in a hailstorm in Nebraska? Some of you haven't been in a hailstorm?
Yeah.
When you get those ice falling on you, it's big or like that. Okay, so when that falls on a person's house, okay, it can cause damage, right? It can mess up the shingles, it can break the windows, it can break the siding, it can do all that, okay? Well, my job in the summers as an insurance adjuster would be, I would go to these houses, excuse me, I would climb up on the roof, I would look at the shingles, okay? Determine whether they need to be replaced or repaired. Then I'd walk around the house, look at the siding and the windows and all that kind of stuff. determine whether they need to be repaired or replaced, okay? I'd write all this stuff down. Then it was all done, I'd give it to the person that's insured and say, okay, this is the damage I found, okay? They would say, okay, and then they would have to go hire somebody to go fix it or whatever, or they do it themselves. And then I'd send the paperwork to the insurance company, and the insurance company would write them a check and send them a check to pay for the damage on their house. Okay? That's what I did in the summer, because remember, I only worked from August to May, okay? Now, some teachers in the summer take classes, okay? Why do you think they take classes?
To get better and get more money.
To get better at their job, and remember I said,
More money.
the more money, okay? The more education you have, the more money you make, okay? So that's why teachers in the summer will do that part of it too, okay? Good question. Any other questions?
What are some of your skills that you need? Like you talked about staying calm. Do you need to be a good communicator? Do you like need to know writing and math and stuff?
Yeah, I was a math teacher, okay, so I'm pretty good at math. The writing part of it, one of the things that they expect you to do in college is you gotta be able to read and you gotta be able to write, okay? You have to be able to express yourself with a written word, okay? And you have to understand what it is you're reading. So, you know, as you're working your way through, it's vital that you learn how to do those things. Now, once as a teacher / administrator, I do that a lot. Okay? I'm either reading something or I'm writing about something. Okay? And it could be as simple as writing an email, or it could be, you know, a proposal or something like that. Okay? What else?
What kind of education do you need for your job?
Well, you know, in the state of Nebraska, you gotta have a bachelor's degree to begin with, okay, in order to be a teacher, all right? Now, a lot of people go through college, get their bachelor's degree, and declare in college, I want to be an education major. So they take teacher training classes as they're working their way through college, okay? And I know you guys have probably seen, sometimes we'll have people in the building, okay? Sometimes we have them from UNK, sometimes they come from Macy's College. So kind of they'll just sit in a classroom and watch teachers teach. That's part of them getting their training to become a teacher, okay? So, you know, you gotta have that. Now, in the state of Nebraska, we're seeing more and more people that have a bachelor's degree, that finish college, but now all of a sudden they want to become a teacher, okay? In the state of Nebraska, you can do that. You can get what's called a provisional certificate to teach school. Right? So you can come in, I have my bachelor's degree, I want to teach math in high school, but I don't have any teacher education. Well, that's fine, okay? You can come in, you can start teaching, but you got to work on that teacher education piece. You have to get that endorsement, all right? And we're seeing more and more of that, and primarily because there's a shortage of teachers. Okay? There's just not a lot of teachers out there to fill all the positions that we have in the state of Nebraska. So you gotta have at least that to answer the question, okay? What else? Now, when I came out of high school, remember I started at that fertilizer plant, did not need a college degree. Okay? All I needed was a high school diploma. All right? And when I worked at the gas company, did not need a college degree, just high school diploma. Okay? Both of those jobs, like I said, they paid very, very, very well. Now, those kind of jobs are probably a little bit fewer to find, okay? And anymore, in order to get those jobs, they probably would ask you to get some kind of certificate, okay? Maybe you would go to CCC for a year and get some kind of certificate. Or maybe you go to CCC, or how many of you know Southeast Community College in Milford? If you're familiar with that school?
It's right before Lincoln.
Yeah. Would go there and get a certificate or an associate's degree so that they can do those jobs. Okay. Anything else? Did they answer all the questions? Questions?
Jack, you don't have
How long have you been
I'm
teaching?
embarrassed to say that.
Or, I mean, like-
I taught 17 years in the classroom, and I've been here 7 years, so I'm 24 years in education. Okay. But remember, You know, I told you, it took me, I was 32 years, or, I was actually, I was 30 years old when I graduated from college. I was 32 when I started teaching, okay? So even though I'm the same age as Mr. Moran, I'm a little older than Mr. Moran, but I'm the same, close to the same age as Mr. Moran and Mr. Groupie. They're retiring this year. I don't get to retire yet because I haven't taught as long as that.
They have a question.
Yeah.
He does.
What's up, Jack?
Did you say that in the summer teachers take classes? But why do they teach the same thing every year?
Yeah.
We wonder
Okay.
ourselves.
Do you remember how I started this? One of the most challenging parts of my job, do you remember what I said? Somebody tell me what I said about one of the most challenging things about my job. Remember?
Have
Oh,
patience.
come on, what?
Have patience.
What's that?
No.
No? Do you remember what I said?
He was like,
What's the hardest part about my job? Nobody remembers?
No one remembers?
The money.
No,
The
it's
money.
nice, it's not the hardest part.
Making them kick.
No,
No, wait.
that's easy.
being calm.
Wait, give us
What's
a
that?
hint.
Being calm.
Being calm, no, that's not hard, it's easy to get calm. You remember,
Remember.
the first thing I said to you is, my job is to enforce policy, right? Enforce policy. Who sets policy?
The board.
The school board, okay? The school board sets the policy. All right, so back to your question. You know why the teachers teach the same thing every year? Okay, because
The board.
that's what the state of Nebraska, who sets policy for curriculum, says, hey, students have to learn this. So teachers go, okay. Now, teachers have a choice how they teach it, but what they teach, we're not having a choice.
So our state says, Chad, okay, high school student needs to take 4 years of English. That's the policy. Policies are like rules. Rules, okay? So that's part of that one.
And so the Nebraska Department of Education, they're kind of like this big umbrella over the whole state of Nebraska, where they sit there and they say, okay, this is what every school, public school, has to do, okay? And then underneath that Nebraska Board of Education, Department of Education, it says each individual school district's school board. And so then they look at what they do, okay, the state says we have to do this, we're gonna do it this way.
What if you don't?
Then the state can come in and say, hey, look, we're not gonna accreditate your high school, we're not gonna accredit it, you know what that means?
I'm not gonna recommend it.
Well, they can do that too, they could pull your money, but what they can do is they can say, okay, grade on senior high, your students can't go to college. They won't qualify to go to college then. We'll just say, nope, this high school is no good, your kids can't go to college.
Dang.
You think that'd be fair to you guys?
No.
So, again, why do teachers teach with, because they have to, okay? They have no choice, it's just the way things are. Good question. Yes?
Jackie wants to know if it's like hard working with kids like her.
No, like, I was gonna ask, like, do you like working at kids that get in trouble?
Yeah, like you?
Jackie, how long have I been doing this job?
7 years?
7 years here,
Like,
24 total.
Like, be
Do
on
you
your-
really think that you know, kids are kids?
Like, do you get tired of kids that are working? Like, do you hate them?
You know what?
No.
Part of what I have to do is I have to help kids understand choices, right? Right? We talk about choices all the time. And, you know, it's just the way it is. When you're young, you don't know everything, sometimes you make bad choices, okay? Now, do adults make bad choices?
Sometimes.
Absolutely, okay? Absolutely they do. But part of what I do and teachers do is they try to help kids make a better choice, okay? Are they gonna make bad choices? All day long, okay? But hopefully it's not the same one over and over.
Jackie does that. She does that.
Jackie's made a lot of improvement.
Jackie and I have lots of good conversations, okay? And it's not because she's in trouble, but we just like to sit and talk sometimes. Okay. Anything else?
You don't put people next to you.
Sometimes if they need it. Sometimes you have to send them home, okay? Sometimes I send them home because it's either, it can be a danger to them or a danger to somebody else. And that's kind of what, the school board lets me decide, Mr. Gilbertson decide, hey, you guys decide, is a student, can they function in this school or can they not? If they cannot, then we gotta find them someplace else to go. If it's just for a few days they cannot function, then they go home. Okay? Sometimes they come back and everything's okay, sometimes they still don't get it, so you keep working with them. This is part of the process. Okay?
Did you ever have mentors? We've talked a lot with our other speakers. They've always had somebody in their life that helped them grow.
Oh.
Did you ever have mentors in your life, Mr. Hester?
Absolutely. When I was going to college, I was working at the natural gas place, and I just knew I was not happy. I had there was a person in the college who would direct me, and what they did, it was a great idea. He gave me a list of classes I had to take. Okay? He said, this is what you have to do if you want to be a teacher. All right? So I took that list, and I'm telling you, it was like a sheet like this, and it was just full, classes that I had to take. So he said, just take it, one at a time. So that's what I do. Every time I finish a class, I just draw a line through it. And then pretty soon, I could see that I was getting closer to the bottom of that list, okay? And I was marking off these classes, and I was getting closer and closer to my goal, all right? So he was a huge influence on getting me where I wanted to be. Once I got to be a teacher, I had a principal when I taught at Centura, great guy. He died of a heart attack about, it'll be 4 years, okay? It was right at graduation. He graduated his class, he was a bicyclist, he liked to do races on bicycles. Had a heart attack, ride his bicycle in Seward, Nebraska, and he dropped dead right there.
How old is he?
At the time, he was 52.
Pretty young.
52 years old. Yep. And so he was a great mentor. He was one of those people that just kept telling me, hey, look, okay, as a math teacher, you have about 100 kids. He said, as a principal, you can affect a lot more kids. Okay, you can work with a lot more kids. So this is something you really need to do. And I didn't want to do it because I like teaching. I like being in the classroom. That's what I really enjoy. But I just kept thinking, maybe I could do something else. Okay. So after a while, I decided, well, I'm going to try something else. So I applied for a position here, and now I've been here for 7 years. So mentors are important. When you find somebody that's positive, and you find somebody that you like and that you respect, okay, ask them questions. Ask them for help. It's vital. Okay? It's vital.
Was teaching math something that you liked?
I did. Okay, backing up when I said I was with my kids at the elementary schools, and I thought this is really neat. I'd like to be. Now, I didn't want to be an elementary teacher because, I just little kids can be disgusting. Their fingers and their noses and their coughing and all that. So I didn't want to do any of that. Okay, but I thought, I'm pretty good at math. I think I could teach math in high school. So I got an endorsement to teach math from 7th grade through 12th grade. Okay, so I had 7th grade math, and then I also taught 8th grade math, and I taught high school math. And it was good. Now, I learned more about math as a math teacher than I ever knew before. Okay. I had a good working knowledge, but I didn't know how to teach it.
You
That's
teach
all.
here.
I never taught in the classroom here. Anything else?
If you had to redo it, what would you do? If you had to redo like that part of your life, would you go back, would you start early in education, or would you kind of experiment and see what you like?
I don't think I would change anything. Because I really believe that if I would have become a teacher in my 20s, I never would have made it. Because in my 20s, I thought I knew everything. Okay, I thought I was invincible. I thought, I can do whatever I want. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. All those kind of things. And so probably as a 20-year-old in a classroom, it would have never worked. I would have got fired or I would have quit. Just because of my attitude. But now, I started later. Now, I don't think I'd change anything.
Anybody else have questions? Because that part's number 7, freshmen. Think about, you can start with who, we have to write a question. Who, what, when, where, why, or how. Yes. Write a question that will give you some think time for a minute. Write down a question. Oh, Yvonne has a question.
If you could change one thing about how you do your job, what would it be?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah. Well,
Not so much.
how I do my job. Let's see. Well, I guess if there was probably one thing, if I could do different, I would like to maybe have a smaller group of students. Okay, A through E, I have about anywhere from 650 to 700 students that are in my alphabet. Okay, which is about just the size of Northwest alone. Okay, so I'd like to have about half that, so that I could get to know every one of my students in my alphabet. Yeah, if I could change it extra, I'd like to have a smaller group.
Anybody else? Well, thanks, Mr. Hester. You guys, let's clap 3 on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Nice. Thank you so much. We've enjoyed it. Hey, freshmen, we'll give you the rest of the time to finish filling out your career guest speaker. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Third down.
I can do that.
Perfect.